Hey everyone, welcome back to Unicorn Dust Designs. If you're clicking on the video for the first time, my name is Sammy and welcome. Today we are going to be working on Christmas DIYs. If you could not tell from my shirt, I am in the Christmas mood and I am ready to get crafting, and I hope you are too. Let's go ahead and hop right into this video. My friends, I am so excited to show you this one. It is by far my favorite, and I'm going to make a million of them. So I am going to take my book and I'm going to bend it all the way back. This is going to help keep my book open to the middle. I'm using a Reader's Digest. I like using these because they're kind of a dime a dozen. I find them all the time at the thrift store, and I do not feel bad for crafting with them. I'm going to take the new IOD Fairy Mary transfers. Unfortunately, I was not able to get my hands on these, so I apologize. And I am going to put them on both pages. On the left page, I'm just going to layer them up. I didn't really know what look I was going for here, but I knew that I wanted layer. I wanted there to be a lot of places to look, I guess you can say, on here. So I push it down, lift it up, burnish it. Now I'm going to take my glue gun and I am going to hot glue the pages down so that it looks a little bit more whimsical, like they're flowing or like they're moving in the wind kind of thing. So I am folding those in, and then to kind of lift the pages up, I'm going to fold a page downward and hot glue that down. So you'll see after this third one, I'm gonna then take one and fold it down. This is gonna give it my pages some lift, and you'll see why this is important later. On the other side, I'm going to roll my pages in. I think I do about 2 of these, and then again, I'm gonna roll them downward so that I get some lift in those pages. Now I'm going to accessorize this. Now, after accessorizing in the middle, you can seriously leave this book as is and it would look beautiful on a table or vignette. But we ain't going to leave it like that, you guys. So I'm going to take these real eucalyptus leaves, and then I'm also taking faux, like the green ones are faux leaves, and then these berry wired garland from Dollar Tree, which I will say leave off if you plan on doing this because you'll see why later. All right, so here is what it looks like. And this is beautiful as is. You could even stand this up and use it as a display in your bookshelf, but we are not doing that here. We are going to take a bunch of water and we are going to bring it to a boil. Once it boils, we're going to start transferring our boiling water to this plastic container, and we are going to use the borax to crystallize this book. So it is 1 cup of water to every 3 to 4 tablespoons of borax. So I believe I used 33 cups of water and 8¼ cup of borax. So you are going to pour the borax into your water while it is still hot, and then you are going to mix it around until it completely dissolves. I have been seeing this on TikTok for I don't know how long, and I knew I wanted to try it with a book. And you guys, it was very easy to do. So you want to make sure that you fill this container high enough to completely cover whatever object you are going to put in here. And you can literally crystallize almost anything, you guys. So once this is completely dissolved, and you guys wear gloves if you have sensitive skin. I do not, so I did not feel the need to do that. I'm going to take the book that we decorated and I'm going to place it in our plastic container, and I'm going to push it down. Now you're going to need something heavy to hold your book down at first because it's just going to want to float up. At first I tried using these little Buddha things, but they were not heavy enough. So I got this cobbler mold and that did the job. Now you want to check back in a couple hours and then remove those weights from your book, or else they will start to crystallize as well. This is what it looks like after, I think it was like a few hours or so. You can start to see the crystals forming, but do you see those berries, you guys? they dissolved. Probably because they were like little styrofoam. So I will not be using those next time. Now, the next day, I think we waited about 18 hours. Now, the longer you wait, the bigger the crystals will form onto your project. I think the the color turned out like this because of all of the red berries that disintegrated. But you are going to want to carefully remove this. And you guys, this thing is heavy. It's wet and it has crystals all over it. So I am carefully taking this out. I'm going to move it to a wired rack so that I can drain the water. And you'll see me tip the book over to its side because there's all that water in those pages. And then I will turn it to the other side as well. And when I say this thing is heavy, you guys, it is heavy. And you want to be careful because you don't want to crack your book. So I laid it out, and then I'm getting all of those little extra crystals that we don't need that just kind of like fell on top of the book that were floating. And you can already like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So cool. Um, so after that, I laid it down, and I will say lay it down overnight, and then the next day stand it up so more of the water could drain from the pages. And y'all, look at how beautiful this turned out. I am going to show you this in a couple different lighting like settings, but I wanted to share some things I learned. One, those florals, the like eucalyptus, the yellow, those were real, and the crystals did not want to attach to it. The fake stuff, it attached to very easily. I'll also say that the back of the book does not crystallize since it was laying down. So if you want the back to, I would prop it up on like Jenga blocks or something like that. And then what was the other one? You need to wait for this to thoroughly dry, and it could probably take weeks for this to dry, and then you will clear it with like a high gloss clear coat. But y'all, look at this. Do you see how I have it standing now and it's draining? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And y'all know I love books. So this just like, oh, this makes my heart flutter. You could see the peaks of the fairies when you really look into it. I hope you guys totally love this. And ta-da, you guys, the pre-sale for the IOD products start tonight. So head to the website, unicorndustdesigns.com. I am so excited to finally make this leap in selling these IOD products. Thank you to all of you that like you guys literally have waited and waited for me to carry it myself to make a purchase, and I appreciate that so much. And I appreciate you, those of you that have already placed orders for the seasonal stuff. It means the world to myself and my family. And please make sure to read the description on the pre-sale so you know how it works. Okay, back to our crafting. I've had this clock. It was $1.98. And please, you guys, why do I always in my mind think like I'm going to do an easy project? This is going to be an easy DIY. And then I just start digging, I make a mess, and then it takes longer. So of course I'm looking at the face of this clock and I'm like, do I paint over it? No, it feels like paper. Let me see what this is made out of. So it was some kind of like cardstock fill-in paper. But then, of course, underneath it is a bunch of glue. So I goo-gone the crap out of this thing, but it still had some places where it didn't want to come off. So I'll show you how I fix that later. I'm going to take Gypsy Green, and I seriously feel like I've been using Gypsy Green on a lot of the Christmas stuff. So this might, Gypsy Green in fancy form, girl, I'll say. So I coat the entire clock, and you can see where like the goo is coming through. So what I do to cover that up is I take my Folk Art Crackle medium. Now, the less brush strokes, the better in this case. I get this from Amazon. It's in my Amazon store link in the description box. I'm going to put just the light coat, and then I take my heat gun and I dry it really fast. It also helps with the crackle. Next, we'll take faded burlap. And again, less brush strokes, the better here. and I'm going to brush that over my crackle. This is going to help hide all of like the ripples that were left from the previous glue. It's going to hide those like little oily spots that you saw, and you could already see it start to crackle there, which is exactly what we want. After this, we are going to take Big Top and we're going to completely clear it, including the face. Since this is a crackle finish, I did not want the transfer lifting any of it up or becoming an issue. Now we're going to take the transfers, and I am going to use this bird one. And what I'm going to do is just take my scissors and cut a slit right there. And then I'm going to push that in between our clock hands and then start from the bottom and then work my way up. And I did not have any issues doing it this way. The image came out so well. For those of you that have never worked with the transfers, they are so easy to manipulate and work with. So just have fun with it. I also needed to add a fairy, and I liked this fairy because she was like a standalone. She wasn't on one of those book pages like most of them are. So I put that over to the side, and she has like the cutest little red flower dress on that is so stinking adorable. And y'all, if you do not have IOD products, that is completely fine. There are so many images you can print from like graphicsfairies.com. You can use napkins. You could print on tissue paper. So many options other than IOD. Now I'm going to take my floral moss, and the hands of the clock were pretty like pushed out. So I just made sure when I was pushing this down that I made it flat enough so that the hands of the clock could still work and go over. So you can see I'm lining the bottom, and this looks so cute. The fairy and the mushrooms are kind of like poking out. It's adorable. One of my subscribers sent me these paper flowers. Gosh, I feel like it's been like 2 years now. And there are these little tiny ones, and they matched the flowers on her dress. So I decided to put those in just to add a little bit more detail. And y'all, I've been saving this clock forever because it has like a bubble glass on it. So I knew I wanted to put something inside of it. And this did not disappoint. This came out so whimsical and cute. The clock fully works, fully functional, and I love the imagery inside that moss. It just creates such a beautiful effect that I am totally digging. Let me know what you guys think about the clock down in the comments. Hey everyone, just checking in on you to see if you are enjoying today's Christmas video. Comment down below if you have already started crafting for Christmas, or if there's like a certain month that you're like already ready, set, go. Now I can start crafting for Christmas. I know a lot of people like to enjoy the seasons, but then I know there are a lot of crafters that are like way ahead of the schedule, you know, kind of like retail stores, one season ahead. That's here on YouTube too. So you guys, I hope you are enjoying the DIYs. I hope they're inspiring you to create, and y'all know the drill. If you're digging me, digging the DIYs, digging this channel, then please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's an absolutely free way you can help your girl out here on YouTube. All of my links are down below, including my website for the paints and products that I use. And y'all, let's go ahead and finish off this video. Our next two DIYs are going to be rather easy. If you guys see greenery in a thrift store, garage sale, but the pots are ugly, do not skip out on those. Get them because you could always transform them with a little bit of paint. So for this one, it had some kind of like oily residue on the bottom. Obviously, it's been painted. I didn't know how old it was. So I decided to take Salvation Solution in clear and clear the pot before putting my paint on. That way I didn't chance getting any of those oils coming through my paint color. Now I'm going to take Fancy Farm Girl, and Fancy Farm Girl is going to be just a tad a bit brighter of a green than Gypsy Green is. I'm going to do 2 coats of this Fancy Farm Girl. And after I'm done, I'm going to take the Sincerest Regards stamp. Now, the stamp itself is still on like that, like plasticky film they come on. And all I'm doing is putting my ink on small sections of the stamp and then kind of eyeballing how much room I have to work with. So you'll see as like I flip it around, I'm going to kind of figure out what is going to look best layered onto the next section. And then I will take that stamp ink and I'm only going to ink that section of the stamp up because I don't want to ink everything because then it's going to smear and then they're going to start layering on top of each other, which I don't want. So I just press that down and then I slowly take it off just like that. This one is on the website. Now I'm going to take my transfer. And what's nice about the new transfers is I really do not feel like they are only meant for Christmas because yes, they have some Christmas images in them, like a Christmas tree and things like that. But for the most part, they look more whimsical and like woodland theme, I guess you could say. Now, after that's done, we need to seal our paint. Our ink is permanent, but it's always good to seal it. And then we want to seal that transfer in. So I'm using my DIY clear wax. And if y'all haven't used that wax, you are missing out. It lasts forever. And this is how simple it was to just take an outdated little floral pot. I think this one I did pay like $3.99 for, but the greenery was really good in it. I liked the color of it. And look at how beautiful and detailed that transfer is. And then the sincerest regards stamp just adds a little bit more detail to what would have been a rather plain pot, in my opinion. Now this next one, we're going to use the Christmas tree mold. And I had this, it's not even like it's not a cutting board. It actually has like a back so it sits on a table kind of thing, but we're going to turn it into some decor. So I am going to take my Christmas tree and we are going to use Fancy Farm Girl once again. This made for the most gorgeous like tree color. So if you're doing any like holly or Christmas trees, this is going to be the color that you want to use out of all the greens from the DIY collection. So I am using a chippy brush and I'm doing that because this tree has so many details that I needed those bristles to get into every nook and cranny. Do you see that? Do you see? It looks like a Douglas fir. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Now we're going to take layered chocolate and I'm going to paint the stem, but make sure when you're painting this, if you have this one, to carry it up into the branches. So you can see right there on the left how it kind of carries up. So you want to make sure you get that so that it looks like it's actually a part of the tree and not just like a stump that's glued on. You know, you picking up what I'm putting down? Now we're going to take some white swan and I am just going to lightly dab this on top of the tree so it looks like the snow has settled onto the branches or is melting off of the branches of our Christmas tree. You could even use salt wash to really get a textured snow finish, and that would be beautiful as well. The star, we're going to go in with Pennies from Heaven Copper Liquid Patina. I also had the golden ticket, which is gold, obviously, but the copper, I was just vibing the copper. Now we need to clear everything. So again, just taking the DIY clear wax. I like using the clear wax for more detailed projects because using the big top on things like this, sometimes if you leave a little bit extra into the details, it'll dry white. So I like using the clear wax. Now I'm going to take our Titebond and I'm going to take some hot glue. Hot glue is for the immediate hold. And I am going to attach that towards the bottom. And then I will get my star, and then the star I'm going to attach to the top right. Now you guys, in my head, I envisioned it accessorized. You guys know I like my accessories on my DIYs. And I tried all different styles of bows. I tried everything, you guys. I was like not giving up, and I tried different fabrics. I tried twine, I tried lace. I mean, I went for it. However, some things just don't need the accessories. And if it's this, you know, if you have to work this hard at it, I'm like, it's just not meant to be. So in the end, I decided that we were just going to leave it as is. I think the tree itself is so detailed and the wood on the background and everything that it didn't really need much more. I think this image itself was good enough. Do you guys think that this was good, or would you have added, what would you have added to this? Um, so you guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me watching these DIYs be done. And I hope that they inspired you to create this week. I will see you guys back here on Thursday. Just losing my mind, you know, this is probably like my 6th one in a row that I'm recording. So yeah, okay. So it gets a little confusing. We need to do something with this boring background. I actually brought you guys over here because I still have the bright signs over there. And okay. I hope. Oh, what?